Hi, Desiree. I'm so thrilled that you're back again.
Yeah, this will be fun. Good to
it's
see you again.
it's been a while.
Mhm.
I feel like we need to catch up, um, but I'm so happy that you're available to talk to us about fitness for women over 50. It's a huge topic. We're not going to be
Yes.
able to cover it all, but we'll make a head start, anyways. At least an introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And who better to talk fitness with than you? And I think I'd love to start, as I always start, with transition stories. And
Mm-hmm.
yours is such an exciting one because you were a professional bodybuilder and a personal trainer. And I'd love to ask you, number one, which came first? And number two, how did you become a professional bodybuilder? Because it really wasn't super popular in British Columbia, anyways,
Mm-hmm.
then. So tell us about your journey.
Yeah. Okay. Well, bodybuilding came before personal training. Well, actually, not so much because I was an aerobics instructor before. But yeah, well, I've been athletic my whole life. I was a runner, did track and field, did a little bit of gymnastics, played soccer. So I've always been athletic. And then after school, I did some kickboxing. I still was a runner. Then I got into aerobics, was an aerobics instructor. But yeah, I wasn't into weights at all. I was more just cardio sports, aerobics, running. But then I got into bodybuilding. Well, at the time, I hadn't even planned on getting into bodybuilding, but I just got into more weight training when I was living in Israel because I was still running, but I was running at nighttime one time because if you didn't get up before 6, it was too late, like too hot in the morning. So if I couldn't get up early enough, then I would run at night. And I stepped in a pothole and then rolled over my ankle, twisted it. I thought I broke it because it just blew up right away. So I couldn't run for about 5 months. So I started going to the gym because I've been athletic my whole life. So I have to do something. Like I'm physical. I love fitness. I love working out, whatever it is. So I started going to the gym and just doing the weights. I tried it one time when I was teaching aerobics before I even got into weightlifting, but I didn't know anything about it. So it wasn't to me like cardio workouts, and like you're working, you're sweating, you got the heart pumping. And then when I tried doing weights, I was like, oh, this isn't really working. I'm not feeling anything. I wasn't getting my heart rate up, but like I didn't even know how to train at the time, as far as weight training went. So anyways, I started going to the gym when I was in Israel. And I met this other tourist from England, and he had this book, Lee Haney's, totally awesome. Lee Haney was a pro bodybuilder back in the day, back in the 80s. So he gave me his book to borrow. So I started looking at his workouts, and I just started following it. I didn't know really what I was doing. But didn't train my lower body at first, my legs, because one, my ankle, I couldn't. And two, because I've always had a muscular or athletic build. So my legs, especially from all the years of running, my legs stimulate really fast. So I didn't train my legs at first. My legs are already bigger than my upper body. So I started doing just my upper body workout, just following the routine in the book. And then I started seeing, looking at me one day, I was like, oh.
Guns!
I started seeing some definition. I go, oh, I like this. So then I just kept it up. But I had I know nothing but the sport of bodybuilding. It was just another form of workout for me. Like, if I wasn't running, I was, doing something. But so I started doing that. And when I came back to Canada, after I still kept it up through my whole pregnancy. And then after my daughter, I started back again. And and then I started back running. So it was just another form of activity for me. Didn't even know what the bodybuilding world. But then I was in the gym, and a friend of mine said, "Oh, you got a good physique. You should compete." And I'm like, "No, not interested." Yeah, because I would see the magazines, and I look at the people in the magazine and think, "Oh, I can never look like that." But not knowing that it takes years and years and years of training. They didn't, nobody starts out like that. But anyway, so I finally talked into doing a show, and I did it, and I won. And then I liked
One
it.
on the first try. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, first and second. And then I just kept doing it. But I was just doing again, it was just for for fun. Then before I even started taking it more seriously, like I trained hard, but yeah, it was just one show at a time. Then I just became, hooked on it. And then I started taking much seriously, and I thought, okay, well, I do have potential, to win, like at a higher level. So I started, take it more of it became a job, let's say. Like with any professional sport, like your training, your sport, it's a 24/7. Like that's your job. Like it's like a job. So yeah, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I loved the challenge. Like I loved of just the whole like dieting, even though like, you love dieting but you don't love it, but just seeing the body transform, like from off-season conditioning to like being lean and ripped, and till you hit the stage. Like I love that transformation, and yeah, and I just got to enjoy the sport, and that's how I got in. That's how I got into it, and ended up doing for 15 years.
Wow,
Competing for
that's
15
so
years.
impressive,
Yeah,
especially for a woman, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And we'll start addressing that because, of course, lots of hormonal changes over that time. But just going back to what you were saying about the demands of bodybuilding, which in a way, I'm doing a quick sports comparison in my head, is really probably the most demanding in sport because of the cutting that you have to do diet-wise before competition, and that must require so much discipline to do that.
Yeah, well, I would say like with our sport, it's difficult. But when you look your best, you're at your weakest.
Yes, exactly. So how do you do that?
I mean,
How do you?
not even so much in the gym, but just like energy wise, like
Yeah.
especially that last week, those last couple of weeks when you're depleting, the last stage, of your diet there. Like I used to tell like my clients, I go, if you're still feeling good, then you're not training or dieting hard enough. Yeah, so it's wonderful. Like other sports, you're your best at competition time, where we are the best, like physically, but we're also like at our weakest because we're so depleted.
Yeah. In terms of strength and power, you're depleted, but your physique is bang on.
Yeah.
And then you made the transition into personal training.
Well, I was doing personal training at the time, so I got
at the same time. So
right early on in my bodybuilding, like back in the early 90s.
And that started because of your interest in bodybuilding.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I said, before that, I was an aerobics instructor. Then I got into the weight. So yeah, fitness has always just been part of me. So it's like an easy transition.
Yeah, natural progression.
Yeah.
Aerobics in the 90s, that was a heyday, right?
That was the best. Oh,
yeah. Man. Did you have your leotard out?
Oh, yeah. I used to teach them. I was an aerobics queen. Like I'd be doing 2-3 classes back to back like that. That was the best workout, like doing to the music and, high impact aerobics, step aerobics. Oh, that was the best.
Well, I still do step at home.
I've got one too downstairs.
Yeah. It's the most amazing workout for your glutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's
all that stepping, all that
yes.
You're lounging and
yeah. So now you are not a competitive bodybuilder, and but you're still, I would say, having seen your workouts online, an elite recreational athlete.
Yeah.
So what adjustments have you made over time?
Well, when I retired from competing, actually it was a big adjustment, like just trying to figure out, like actually taking me like a couple of years to really like kind of find a balance. Because like, okay, so I didn't want to I had no reason to like train hardcore and heavy anymore. And so it's like, then I started like just training, okay, I'll just go light and just go easy, but then it wasn't the same. Like, when I train, I like to, I like to be more intense. So it was finding that balance between like, still weight training, but not training like, to put on any more size. And I was trying to actually lose a bit of size. So it took a while to find that balance. And then also, I started looking to other workouts other work that could challenge me. Because I like to have a challenge. I like to have some kind of a goal. Like I did a couple of half marathons after I stopped competing. And so I got into like a lot of strength and condition type training, a lot of functional type training, which was different, but at the same time, because it was different than my body was used to, it was still, like, it gave me like a really good hard workout. Like, so a really good intense workout. And I still train like that. Like I mix it up now. I do like a bit of, the regular weight training, and then some strength and condition training and that. So yes, I mix it up now.
You talk about functional exercise.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like for you?
Well, especially as I got old, like I said, like, women over 50 as I am, like, yeah, you need to, speaking of myself right now, I've had to change the way I train. Like you can't just, like just focusing, like just at this age, you need more than just a bicep pump. Like you need to work on more mobility stuff, more flexibility stuff, more strength, core conditioning, as we get older. I find it with my own body, just focusing more, like I said, mobility type works, like deep core exercises, lots of training that mimics your everyday movement. You can lift weights, but I'll mix it up, like, with, like I'll do like a lunge with a bicep curl or something like that. Like
compound exercise.
Yeah. Balance stuff. Like maybe I'll do squats on my busu ball,
Mm-hmm.
so, things like that.
I was going to address this later, but I think it's more apt now because you gave us the example of mimicking what your body needs to do day to day. And I had that example, and I thought of you for exactly that reason. I'm a grandmother now of an 8-month old, and I have to pick up this now 16-pound wiggly mass off the floor from a kneeling position to standing with 2 arthritic knees. Every time I do it, I say, this is why I have to do the lunges and the squats. And actually, that exercise is called the surrender, right?
Well, I was going to say, but like we saying, like, all the bend stuff, like, train your glutes. Because I mean, a lot of our strength comes from our glutes. Like, when you bend to pick up stuff, I mean, you should be using your glutes anyways, and not, strain off your back. So things like, squats, lunges. And one thing I've been focusing on now too, that it's not so much I neglect it, but it kind of gets worse with other movements like lunges and squats and that, but specifically targeting your hip flexors, strengthening those, and those, like, just with like, like leg lifts, like with weights or bands or whatever, like band workouts are really good too. So you just got to focus on all the low parts, like, the low muscles and connectors and that, and that's just the overall, like, mass muscles.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go back a little bit and introduce the topic of how does menopause affect the body? And I guess, to be fair, we have to talk about perimenopause and post-menopause because the body changes from 50 to 60. So what do you see as a personal trainer?
Yeah, well, I'm in that bracket too, in menopausal stage, and my body. I mean, every woman's different too, so but for most women, there's some lucky ones that have no effect at all, but
who are they?
But yeah, the, like, hormonal changes. So you got things like weight gain, like I gain weight easier. than I did when I was younger. I mean, that has to do with like, as you get older, well, hormones, your metabolism changes and that, but even working out is still being, I find I've got to be, first of all, more conscious on what I eat, because my body gains weight a lot easier now than it did before. But it's even more important as you get older, and especially you get your menopausal phase, to exercise. Like you can't get away from it. I mean, there's people out there who hate exercise, but I mean, if you want to counterbalance those changes, you need to exercise, strength training. It's important to have in there, and it doesn't have to be like you go in the gym and lifting heavy weights. It could be body weight workouts, bands, just light weights. But you need some kind of resistance strength workout to further helps because we start to lose bone density as well. So you want to maintain that, and the way to maintain that is with strength training to help with the weight gain. Exercising, a bit of strength training, a bit of cardio workout. Of course, diet. Watching what you eat. Trying mimic your processed foods and your bad fats and that. Just pretty much eating healthy, but you just got to be even more conscious of it as we get older. And if I had to get older, it's not the time to start letting yourself go. That's the time where we really got to keep our bodies going. Keep it mobile.
I think that's the key point, because any weakness you have before menopause is going to be magnified.
Exactly.
So if you have, and I've picked up so many niggles, injuries over time, and structural weaknesses, just posture. So any of those is just going to be magnified.
Yeah.
Right? So you really have to, as you say, double down.
You do. And like I said, and I tell people people say, I hate going to the gym. Well, you don't have to go to the gym. I mean, it could be anything. It could be like going for hikes, going for power walks. But I mean, you still need to do things that, target like the different muscle groups. So, it comes down, you will have to pick up some kind of, band or weight at some point and do some resistance training, even if it's just twice a week. But
absolutely.
But stay mobile, staying flexible, because we end up sometimes we get old, get more sedated. So just stretching, just moving.
Exactly. And I think again, a lot of people think, I work out, I do my 30 minutes, an hour a day, but then you're sitting down for the rest of the day. And now the studies are showing that takes away any gain you might have made earlier that day with your workout. So it's not just working out, but being as active as you can.
It's true. Yeah. So after you work out, so you can still keep active by, I don't know, doing stuff around the yard or just going for light walks or just, so if you work for half hour, and then you're going to sit for the next, 20 hours, then you kind of haven't really.
You're not doing yourself any favors.
No. And even the days you don't work out, you can still it's good to have a full rest day, but you can still have an active rest day where you just maybe go for a light walk or do some stretching or work on your mobility stuff or yoga or something light, just to keep the body moving.
I used to do yard work on my rest day.
Yeah.
And then I thought that actually is terrible because you're squatting or lunging, pulling out weeds all the time. And I actually got sore from doing that.
Well, you can. Yeah. If you do a lot of hard yard work, you can. But sometimes I used to after work, I would, if I need to clean my floors or, sweep up or vacuum up my floors, I would do it after work when I'm all messed up anyways. But then sometimes just, because I use a manual mop, but that would give me work. I'd be wet, sweating as I'm doing it, getting my heart rate up there. I would, instead of looking at it as a chore, I would look at it as a second workout.
That's absolutely true. I do the same, and perhaps that would help women when they, Because we do look at housework as such a chore. But
Mm-hmm.
if you reframe it and say, this is an opportunity to do those lunges and stretch and squat while you're cleaning,
Yeah.
you get a whole workout.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, your mobility, you're moving, like, I'll say like a little bit of something is better than nothing. So even if
Mhm.
like you never done anything, you're just starting out working for the first time, and don't look at it like, oh, I've got like this far to reach, like your goal. Just break it down into small goals, and even if you start with 2 days a week, it's still 2 days a week more than you used to do, or the 30 minutes is more than do nothing.
That is such good advice, because I think we all get overwhelmed by the big arching goals, and I
Yeah.
think if we can just start every day saying to ourselves, one change per day,
Yeah.
and it makes it so much easier,
Yeah.
show up.
Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. And yeah, and like I said, if you set your goal but be realistic at the same time, especially if you've overweight, say you gained 50 pounds and then now you want to lose it in a month. Well, you didn't gain that 50 pounds overnight, you're not going to lose it overnight. So be realistic in your goal of getting there.
We are talking about beginner exercisers right now.
Okay.
Because if you haven't been working out to this point, now's the time to start, right? But what
Yeah.
does it look like when you've made that decision? Okay, I have to take my fitness seriously. It
Mm-hmm.
can be overwhelming, I'm sure. And especially some people might have mobility issues or just feel that they're really starting from way back. They have maybe pounds to lose,
Mm-hmm.
and they feel at such a deficit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, like this, whether you're starting for the first time or come back from there, as I said, you have a goal, but give yourself smaller goals in between, like to get there. So don't overwhelm yourself. I know it could be overwhelming, like you look at yourself, or you're out of shape or whatever, and you think, oh God, this is going to take forever, or it's going to take me so long to reach your goal. Well, don't worry about the time, but the time's going to go anyways. So just start small, and first of all, like kind of figure out what you like what you're interested in. Like, you think, oh, I really want to get into weight training, or I just want to like start running or hiking. So start with something you think you can do or you'll enjoy, and start there. Whether it's just going for a 10-minute walk around the block, like any little bit is better than nothing. It's a start. Like, you got to start you have to start somewhere. So just start, and then you work your way up. It's just built from there. So I say if you want to start with just starting with cardio can be the easiest, especially if you're doing it on your own. So that can be just going for a walk, if you're able to run, going for a light jog, riding a bike, going out in the wilderness, in nature, and then going for a hike. Something like those could be the easiest, ways to start. And if you enjoy, being in the outdoors, just get outside and just move.
Yeah, you get double the benefits if you're outside, because just being in nature is so soothing for the soul.
Yeah. And then if you want to, get into strength training, which you should at some point, again, start small. Start with some light weights. You think, oh, I can only lift 5 pounds, but 5 pounds is better than nothing. Like none of us started off lifting, 50 pounds or 100 pounds. We all started somewhere, so you got to work your way up, and like start light, and then,
and don't compare yourself to anybody.
Don't compare, because you don't know what their journey is and how long they've been doing it. And then don't forget, everybody's body type is different too. So maybe you and a friend both start at the exact same time, doing the exact same thing. One of you might, start seeing results and lose the weight, quicker than the other one. A lot of things play a factor. So you think, oh, I want to get in shape, so I'm just going to start dieting and exercising, which is what you want to do. But don't forget, you have to consider your body type as well. Like some people can lose weight quickly, Some people have a hard time losing weight or putting muscle on. Like, it all depends on your genetic makeup. So yeah, you said, don't compare yourself to somebody else. You don't know what their body type is. You don't know how they train. Maybe you're doing the same workout, but she might be training at like a lot more intense than you are, but doing the same movement. So she'll burn more than you do. There's many things that play a factor. So it's not just, just you look at the broad spectrum of diet and exercise, but it's a lot of things in between.
And for the intermediate to advanced exerciser, what can they look forward to in menopause? But what I'm trying to address is, I think a lot of women over 50 think, oh, my fitness will actually decline. But is it possible to improve your fitness in terms of cardio, strength, power, mobility?
All that. Yeah. You just have to stay with it. You don't just, okay, I'm 50 now, I just assume you're going to get weak and start declining. You just have to keep at it. Maybe you have to work a little harder at it, but you can just keep doing the same things, and just keep being consistent with it. And also, for any level, consistency is the key. Like, if you start something, you do for a couple of weeks and you don't do it for a month, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. That's what I say. Set realistic goals and go slowly. Don't just go bang hard for 2 weeks and then then you crash.
That's what men do.
Some, but you got to be smart about it. Like, yeah, it's nice to get the quick result, but then it doesn't last, and then you just end up burning yourself out or injuring yourself or something. So you just got to be patient. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, men are the weekend warriors, right? And then they go all out, and then they're wrecked.
Yeah, but for the fitness, yeah, you still want to do all the things. Like, if you get into 50, you weight train before acute weight training, but you could switch things up. Like, with any workout, with any level, age group, if you're doing the same thing all the time, then your body hits a plateau, gets used to it. So you also got to keep challenging yourself. When it starts to get too easy, like, push yourself, really increase your weight, increase your cardio, increase the session, start doing interval training. If your cardio, like, mix up your cardio, instead of just riding the bike, steady pace for 30 minutes, do a HIIT workout on the bike.
That's such valuable advice, because I think the body wants to do the easiest thing.
And it will. Like I said, I will say, like, the fitter you are, the more harder you got to work, because you got to keep challenging the body. So you fit, you do something well, and then your body gets used to that. Then you got to start pushing it a little harder by, like I say, switching things up. And there's such a variety of ways you can switch things up. Like, say, with the amount of weight, the amount of reps, the cardio session, like, and a lot of times too, because even with me, like, when I do my cardio, a lot of times I'll do a HIIT just because it's less boring, and I get a good blast in a short space of time.
Can you define HIIT and the differences between interval training and HIIT and Tabata?
Yeah, Tabata is another good one. But actually, all three of them are a form of high intensity workouts. It's just different variation. So, like, say, interval training could be, I don't know, it could be just a combination of 2 or 3 different weight workouts, or it could be like weight and a cardio. So, for example, maybe you do, like, I don't know, 20 squats and then go into, like, 30 jumping jacks. Or you could do it by time, like, squats for 20 seconds or 30 seconds, do your jacks for 30 seconds, and then take a little short pause in between 10, 20 seconds, and then repeat, a few times. Or you can combine 3 exercises. So that's what, like, with high intensity with something a little lower intensity interval training. But it's still a form of a high intensity workout. Whereas HIIT, it's mainly cardio. Doing cardio workouts, it could be riding a bike, it could be running. But say if you're riding the bike, you just after you warm up, pedaling for 5 minutes, then you can put it up at a high level and go hard for 2 minutes, and then bring it back down, for a minute or a couple minutes, and then ride at a slower pace and take it back up for say 1 minute, or even higher level intensity, then pedal hard for a minute, bring it back down for 3 minutes. So mixing it up like that. You can go 30 seconds really hard and then bring it back down. So that's example of a HIIT. You could do the same thing if you're running, jogging along, then you can, sprint for a block or sprint for a light pole or whatever, what's the other one? Tabata. Yeah, Tabata. Tabata at night, I'll do a Tabata workout, especially when I don't have a lot of time, or when I'm traveling too. It's a good one to do when you travel because you don't need any equipment. It's just, I'll just do exercise at just my own body weight. What I love to do is like you can combine like say, squats and push-ups. You can do like, 1 squat, 1 push-up, 2 squats, 2 push-ups, 3 squats, 3 push-ups, and so on. I'll do it up to 12. And then I'll start from 12 and count down. If I'm doing 12 twice, it'll be 12 squats, 12 push-ups, 11 squats, 11 push-ups. Sounds like nothing, but
oh my gosh, it sounds like a lot to me.
It is. I am dying. At the end of that, like I am just fully drenched. And like I said, you gotta be like, push yourself too. Like, if you're gonna do it and then just, do it and wait in a minute and then do it, then that's you're losing the point of it. So, and then like I say, you can take a 10-second break in between there if if you need to. But yeah, that's a hard one. I love that one. But that one I'll do when I'm traveling on the road because I can do it right in my hotel room. I'll get a quick blast. Or you can do like say, shoulder presses with burpees or something like. So you use combination, just mix your combination. But that's a really good. It's also you get an aerobic workout as well as strength workout at the same time.
Best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask whether women need to focus on any particular aspect of fitness, like balance, mobility, cardio, strength, power, endurance, or should we try to get a little bit of everything?
Well, it's good to try and get a little bit of everything, but it depends on what your goal is. So depending on what your goal is, you'll probably focus more on one area and a little less on another area. But it's good to have a little bit of everything. But I mean, like I said, it depends on your goal. It depends on whether you're just a recreation trainer or you're an athlete. I mean, I know my days when I was bodybuilder, the main focus was weights, like just weight training, just building, and flexibility because I always like to remain flexible. So I was worked on my flexibility as well. But I didn't do a whole lot of like core balance stuff. Like I said, as I get older, I realized that as I get older, I need more of a balance as I get older. So I say it depends on where you are, what your goal is, but it's good to incorporate a little bit of everything, have a little bit of everything. And like I said, and don't think, every workout I have to do everything. Like just, different workouts focus on different things.
That's what I was going to ask you. How would you plan a week?
Yeah, well, again, everybody's going to be different depending on your schedule, how much time you have to commit. So maybe, say if you only have 45 minutes to work out, you can do a bit of, if weight training is part of your routine, do a bit of weight training, leave a bit of time for your, stretching mobility work at the end, or have a workout that's just located like more functional, like, you engage, your core strength, balance, all that in one. That's more like a functional strength and condition type of workout. So so it can, you just kind of do a schedule that fits into your lifestyle or your schedule, like your workout plan. I think even with that, you want to be realistic. So don't give yourself a workout plan that's going to be like, after you need like 26 hours in a day to get in. Be realistic in your planning. And I say also, like, if you feel, I gotta work out like 5 days a week, you don't have to. If you only have time to work 3 days a week, that's good. 3 days a week is better than nothing. It's still a good amount of time to keep yourself fit and healthy. Have a bit of strength training and have a bit split your workouts between like some strength and cardio or both in the same workout. So like I say, just find that balance depending on your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people enjoy, and I think get really good results by always ending with a bit of resistance training. So if you're doing cardio, you can have tack on a bit of time doing strength training and get even better results.
Well, yeah, it depends. But as far as cardio and strength training, or strength training cardio, if you're doing the same workout, depending on what your goal is, if you're looking to burn fat, especially, it's better to do your cardio after your strength training, because then, when we weight train, our body uses glycogen stores with sugar, carbs in the muscle. So the more glycogen stores you burn off, the faster you kick into your fat stores when you do your cardio. And also, if muscle building is your goal, if you're looking to even increase muscle tone, if you do your cardio first, then you've already depleted yourself by the time you get to your weight training. So again, depends on your goal. If you're training for an endurance sport, marathon, whatever, 10K run, then yeah, you want to get your cardio in, do your cardio workout, your aerobic workout first.
Maximize your results then.
Yes.
Would you say that there's any one muscle group women over 50 should focus on?
Well, you also want to have a balance of all, like focus on the balance, but you want to focus on your main ones, your core support. So that would be like, like your back, your abdominals, your glutes. Well, your glutes is pretty much just what carries you. You're standing, walking up the stairs, bending. Everything is your glutes. So yeah, so like keeping your glutes strong. Doing glute workout, that it could be, like I said, even it could be just body weight squats, body weight lunges. Like, you don't have to have big fancy equipment. If you hate going into a gym, don't go to the gym. Just work out at home. But so just things like your glutes, your back, your arms, especially, you're picking up your grandbaby all the time.
Yeah, I wish mass flesh. I tell you, it's very challenging.
but it's true. We have to keep all that up, and like I say, and then you don't want to like just focus on one body part, because then you end up like the other one becomes weak. So like if you train your back, you want to make sure you train your chest as well. Like I said, like if you don't have any equipment, just do push-ups. Do some little push-ups. Like I say, anything is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm. I think COVID taught us, or I would say inspired so many people to go online to find their fitness classes, right? And there's just such a bevy of free fitness classes on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But today, like back in the day when I was training, bodybuilding, that like we didn't have the internet. Not when I started out, there was no internet, so it's so easy today to just log online and just follow a workout, follow a class or whatever. So you really don't have any excuses, unless you have some physical mobility or something. So I can't get to the gym. Put on your computer, put a workout on and just follow it. And sometimes it's easier too, is just to follow along with something, because then you don't have to try and think of what I want to do. And it gets you more motivated if you just follow along with somebody.
And it's already structured. If you do follow a couple of instructors, they already have their plans, so you don't have to think about it.
Exactly. So and that's another good way to start. Speaking of that, like if you don't know where to start, go online, like just find, a workout that you find fun, or, but if you have a bike at home, you want to follow a spin class, or those, what's it called, those, a Zumba class or something, or just, there's so many workouts online that you can just follow along, live classes or just, videos. So that's a really easy way to get going if you're having a hard time getting motivated.
Yes, and even if you do have mobility issues, there are a lot of seated
there are.
workouts
There is. Yeah. So even if, like I said, even if you have mobility, there's a lot of workouts that you can do. And then, and also you can, if you fall in love with a workout, if for some reason you can't do it the way, they do it, the way it's supposed to be done, you can modify.
Yes.
And then other programs will give you a modification of how to do it, so just make it a little easier for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the better ones will always offer modifications. Right? Yeah. What about the pelvic floor? I mean, so many of us have bladder leaks post menopause. So How do we manage that?
Well, again, that's another muscle you have to train.
Uh,
And I know it's funny because like my kinesiologist I'm seeing right now, she was actually was just for part of my core training and rehab stuff. She's told me have me to like engage my pelvic floor a lot more, and it's similar to doing a Kegel exercise, except well, you probably just think about it like knowing you have to pee, and then you can't go until you like how you contract your muscles so you stop peeing. That's the exercise you want to do. So just tilting your pelvis and squeezing, and then start hold like if you're going over for 5 seconds, work your way up to 10 seconds, and just repeat that a few times. And then you can do it every day. You can do it like sitting right now at the computer. You can do it.
Yeah.
But yes, and then, but again, you just got to be consistent. Like just do it every day. You don't need any equipment. You can do standing, sitting, laying down. But it's just a matter of just doing it. And it does, like if you do it and you hold it tight enough, squeezing your pelvis and really getting deep into your abdomen, and you release, like it's almost it's a workout. Like so like you do it a few times and it feels like yeah. But that's so again. So you just got you got to start training it. Just
and it does work, but it takes time, but it does work. We have a trampoline, so when it's not raining in Vancouver, which is not too frequent, especially now, I go on the trampoline, and it's funny because like any sport or activity, you have to work yourself in. So it seems counterintuitive, but jumping on the trampoline at first triggers it, right? It's like really hard not to have those leaks, right? But over time, if you do it 5-10 minutes a day consistently, then you do learn to get tight and use the pelvic floor just to draw everything in.
Well, exactly, and even like say it can take a few months, to really notice a difference. But like I say, you got to be consistent. So if the time's going to go, and then even if like 10 minutes might seem like a long time, unless if you sit on the TV and you can just do it right there. But even just tell yourself, like even just doing it like couple of times a day, like holding it for doing 10 reps and holding it for 10 seconds, and just but being consistent in doing it every day.
That's the message, right? Being consistent.
Well, with anything with your workout, starting a new program, with your diet, anything is like being consistent. But but I know exactly that because I've said I had to go to the bathroom and I started holding it. It's like, oh shit, I gotta go.